My name is Josh King. I am the head of corporate affairs here at the New York Stock Exchange, and also, for the purposes of this gathering, MIDI for the Swarthmore College men's lacrosse team from the class of 1987. We lost, in case anyone's wondering, in the first round of the Division III men's bracket against Washington College, but at least we made it to the NCAA championship in Division III. I fashioned myself a face-off guy. Is Trevor Baptiste here? Sir, I will not get squatting down in front of you. I'm far too past my prime to do that. But on behalf of Lynn Martin, the president of the New York Stock Exchange, John Tuttle, our vice chairman, Chris Taylor here, our head of listings, it is our great honor to welcome USA Lacrosse athletes, coaches, executives to the closing bell of the New York Stock Exchange to celebrate and honor your 25th anniversary. And let us be among the first to trumpet this great news announced 2 weeks ago at 3:41 a.m. Eastern Time, October 16th, at the International Olympic Committee meeting in Mumbai, the ratification of the addition of lacrosse to the 2028 Olympic Games. Congratulations to everyone. Paul Rabel, where's Paul? Paul, at the 1992 Olympic Games in Barcelona, Larry Bird, at age 35, was the oldest member of the Dream Team in those games. And I know you're a little bit older, but you are much more fit than Larry Legend was back in '92. So the question I have to ask, echoing the title of your podcast, is, are you ready to suit up in 2028? 42. Come on, you can do it, man. Seriously, this is the end of a decades-long quest, with 100 countries now playing lacrosse around the world. The first time lacrosse will be a medal sport in the Olympics since 1908 in London and 1904 in St. Louis. And also the announcement of Elevate 28 as we begin this 5-year run-up to LA will get everyone in this room, and as Mark says, the 4 million additional kids playing to get ready to go onto the field in the next couple of years. Elevate 28 is a great idea. So, Mark, you've been waiting for this for a long time, too. You are a member of Hofstra's '89 team, not Hopkins' 2008, so I won't ask if you're going to suit up and get in net. But here's what you said when the Olympics decision was announced a couple of weeks ago. You said, in some ways, it feels like we reached the finish line with so many people working toward this goal for so many years. In reality, this is the beginning of a bright new future. And indeed it is. From the 6 nations of the Haudenosaunee tribe that also should be in these games, to the 8th graders of Bronx Lacrosse, thanks to what Dan Leventhal and Julie Krupchik have been doing and their inspiration. Everybody has a role to play in this game. It's exemplified by the players and coaches gathered here in our boardroom today. People like Ali Mastriani and Callie Ohlmiller of the women's national team. Where are you? Ladies, Allie led the North Carolina Tar Heels to the 2022 NCAA championship with a perfect 22-0 record. At Stony Brook, Kylie set the record for most career points and most career assists in Division I history. And we have a couple of legends in this room that we also really have to acknowledge. Coach Bill Tierney, head coach of the Denver Pioneers. Of his 7 Division I championships, the first person to bring a Division I men's championship crown to the west of the United States, getting ready for Los Angeles to show how they play in the Western time zones. Welcome her, sir. And Coach Gary Gate, where's Gary? Head coach of the Syracuse Orange, a team he's led to, and as a player leading the Orange to 3 Division I championships and induction into the United States Lacrosse Hall of Fame and the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame. It's great to be with you, sir. So LA is the goal, Elevate 28 is the engine, and programs like Bronx Lacrosse is the laboratory. Improving educational opportunities and the life outcomes for middle school and high school students in 4 areas: athletic development, academic success, social and emotional growth, educational opportunity. What are the results that you guys have seen so far in the Bronx? 100% of 8th graders graduated middle school on time. 98% of parents said their child felt connected to peers and mentors. 93% of rising 9th graders were accepted into high schools with graduation rates of 98% or better. And 100% of parents said their child's self-confidence improved. And could you ask for anything more from a program? 4 years ago, when he was putting together the Premier Lacrosse League, Paul Rabel came to the New York Stock Exchange and sat down with me for a podcast. And I asked him why lacrosse players make good business people like Joe Tsai, who is one of the great business people of all time at Alibaba, an NYSE-listed company. And this is what Paul said to me at the time. The core principles of competing on the field, the work ethic that gets awarded in the short term by a team win, and then in the occurrence of where you lose, the immediate feedback loop of having to go back to work. And Paul and I were just talking before we got going about how maybe it's time that Paul go back and re-listen to some of those words, but they're never truer than they were today than they were back then when you and I first sat down. So Marc, let's get to work and get to lacrosse at the Olympics. Congratulations.
Clearly not your first rodeo. So, listen, most of you who know me know there isn't a microphone that I don't like. But the reality is I'm quite humbled by all of this. I should not be standing here by myself. I am very fortunate to be standing not only on the shoulders of my predecessor, but there's so many people at USA Lacrosse that worked to get us here as an organization, but helped get the sport here. The many board members that have committed so much time and energy to build the organization, but most importantly is this Elevate 28 does not happen by us alone. It cannot happen by USA Lacrosse alone. And I am humbled for just the opportunity to work with all of these partner entities, Athletes Unlimited, Joe Tsai Sports, the IWLCA, the IMLCA, the National Lacrosse League, Premier Lacrosse League, and World Lacrosse. Together, we can have profound impact. Individually, we can have a say, we can make some progress, but together, that impact can be transformational. And let's all remember why we do what we do. This game changes lives. So I'm simply going to share a couple points. One, again, my incredible gratitude to all of the members within this Elevate 28 Council. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but together I know we will make profound change for the good. Kids playing lacrosse, kids playing sport is good for kids, it's good for their families, it's good for communities. Everybody benefits from that, and I am so excited to work with all of you moving forward. And so I'm going to share something. One, the email I sent to the staff this morning is, if you want to fly, you got to jump off the cliff. Well, we just jumped off the cliff. And I'm going to leave you with this too, because I think this one is equally important. Dream no small dreams, for they have no power to move the hearts of men and women. And we're dreaming big, and we're going to make it a reality. Thank you.
So Marc, don't leave me yet. I have one question, because I brought it up to you earlier, and maybe because we're going to put this up on the web later, and a lot of people will have this question, especially if they've brought their kids to a lacrosse game, or they've seen Premier Lacrosse, what Paul puts on every weekend in different cities around the country. You read the news announcements out of Mumbai and the IOC, you see that lacrosse has been brought into the 2028 Olympics, but it's the sixes game. So a lot of people in this room certainly know the difference, but for the broader people to say, what will this product look like in Los Angeles in 5 years? Can you give a quick description of what you're working toward?
Sure. Sixes is lacrosse. Hard stop. Sixes is the game of lacrosse. It is the sport of lacrosse. Think of it in terms of downhill skiing. You have different disciplines of moguls, slalom. In lacrosse, you have field lacrosse, you have box lacrosse, and you have sixes. And it'll be an incredibly entertaining, athletic, skilled representation of the sport that is going to definitely entertain. And sixes as a pathway to play is a great opportunity for young athletes to be introduced to the game in a very fun and engaging way.
Great. Well, you know, when you are in the Olympics, you get a medal when you score first place or second place or third place. And although we don't give out medals here at the New York Stock Exchange, one of our great traditions is the medallion of the exchange, which we give to every bell ringer. On the front of it is the facade of the NYSE, and on the back of it is the buttonwood tree. The buttonwood tree you saw on the video, that tree outside of this place that 24 brokers set their names down on May 17th, 1792 to begin the rules of the New York Stock Exchange that 231 years later, we still abide by. So at USA Lacrosse, Marc Riccio, Chief Executive Officer, closing bell ceremony, USA Lacrosse, October 31st, 2023. Your medal for winning today, sir.
Connecting the opportunity is just part of the hustle.
Opportunity is using data to create a competitive advantage.
It's raising capital to help companies change the world.
It's making complicated financial concepts seem simple.
Opportunity is making the dream of home ownership a reality.
Writing new rules and redefining the game.
And driving the world forward to a greener energy future.
Opportunity is setting a goal.
And charting a course to get there.
Sometimes the only thing standing between you and opportunity is someone who can make the connection.
At ICE, we connect people to opportunity. Joining me today on NYSE Floor Talk is Marc Riccio. He is CEO at USA Lacrosse. We also have Ali Mastriani. She's a player with Athletes Unlimited and USA Lacrosse. And finally, we have Paul Rabel, who is the co-founder at the Premier Lacrosse League. Wonderful to have you all. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
And it's a big day for lacrosse.
Yeah.
Exciting time. So Marc, I want to ask you, let's talk about Elevate 28, which launched today. Tell me what it is and what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, Elevate 28 is coming off the announcement of LA 28, meaning lacrosse getting into the Olympics. Elevate 28 is the coming together of 8 organizations in the United States, pro leagues, collegiate, to grow the game of lacrosse, to get more kids playing the game, to double annual participation in the game of lacrosse by the end of the decade. It's an unprecedented transformational partnership.
Mm-hmm. Now, Paul, the Premier League is part of Elevate 28. Why was now the right time for these organizations to come together?
I think the momentum internationally, getting into the Olympics, for us personally, we're taking our 8 teams into cities this coming year. And so really getting an opportunity to build deeper relationships with young participants and their families in communities. We know that there's a lot of value that we can bring to the table. There's a lot of value that Marc can bring to the table and AU. So I think as something as big as doubling youth participation, lowering the barrier at large to enter requires a more cohesive effort. And so I think the timing was right because of all those.
Mm-hmm. Now, Ali, exciting news with lacrosse being part of the 2028 Summer Olympics. So tell me, what does it mean for a player to play or represent their country on an international stage?
Yeah, there's no greater honor than representing your country while playing the sport that you love. I think being surrounded by the best players in the world, whether you're playing alongside them or playing against them, is such an amazing experience, and it's just something you dream of when you're a kid. So to be able to actually put on that red, white, and blue and represent your country is an experience like no other.
Mm-hmm. Now, Marc, tell me, what do you see for the future of lacrosse as you head into the Olympics over the next 5 years?
The future is really bright for us. We have so much upside as a sport. The opportunity to play the game of sixes at the Olympic level is a pathway to play at the youth level, meaning that it's 6-on-6, it's kids playing together, boys and girls, without equipment. It lowers the barrier of entrance to what Paul talked about earlier. And so it's just a unique moment in time for the sport between this group coming together, between the growth at the collegiate level, the growth at the youth and high school level, to bring all of it together for one cohesive effort really is just a unique opportunity. And we're going to be very much focused on sixes and growing the game at the youth level.
All right, so Paul, you started the Premier League in 2018. What was the inspiration behind founding the league?
Well, I would say as a player, much like Ali, you commit your whole life to the craft. And if you're lucky enough to become a professional, you want to be able to build a career out of it. There wasn't that much of an opportunity prior. While in parallel, we've seen MLS, UFC, even the recent penetration of F1 in the United States, because of new media, because of technology, it's created enterprise value around pro sports. And we felt like, okay, if there was a time, it was now to try and rebuild pro lacrosse. And that's what we set out to do. And 5 years later, sitting with you, Judy.
Yes, 5 years later. Wonderful to be here with you.
Hopefully to do it again another 5.
Yes, indeed. Me too. I do hope so. But now, Ali, tell me, what are you most excited about for the future of the sport?
I just think the future of the sport is exciting. I think that we're going to get more kids playing. The collegiate level is going to get way more competitive. The professional leagues are going to be more exciting than ever. And then the international level is going to be the most competitive that it's ever been. So overall, I think just the entire lacrosse community and the skill level is just going to elevate. And on the women's side, I mean, this is the first time that women will be playing lacrosse in the Olympics, which is really exciting. And I think that platform that showcases women playing lacrosse, it will not only will show how far women's lacrosse has come, but also will showcase how impressive these female athletes are.
Yeah, indeed. Well, this is an exciting day, exciting time for lacrosse. Can't wait to see what the future holds. Wonderful to have you all here. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
together, we built something truly beautiful in the true iconic notion of what America is all about.
This is our task, this is our mission. We have a clear focus and we have the ability to be agile and innovate.
It takes years of dedication to get us to this milestone. It is all because of you.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. It is the only thing that ever has.
To be a woman leader, it's not so easy, but it's easy if the passion and the love is coming from your heart.
The New York Stock Exchange is the symbol of what America's all about. Potential of capitalism, the potential of an American dream.
The only way you can move a society forward is a true expression of freedom.